and welcome to Layback with Betfair. Joined by the A-team, we're back. Hello and welcome to a huge edition of Layback with Betfair. It's Derby Day, it's Christmas Day for punters all around Australia. We've also got two great races to feature at Rosehill Gardens as well. My name's Nick Foote. Joining me is the A-team panel here, the Prince of Pakenham, Reece Goodwin, Baron of Betfair, Tom Haylock. Reece, welcome, mate.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Can't wait to crack into it. Couple of big meetings. Well, Rosehill's probably not as big, but there's a couple of big races there worth some good prize money. And then Derby Day, the start of the Flemington Carnival. We're looking forward to it.
You got to get excited, mate. You got to pick up. Like, remember that first episode we ever did?
A bit like that, you reckon?
You're a bit like that. I said, "Are you excited?" He goes, "Yeah, very excited."
No, I was nervous.
It's Christmas Eve, or close enough, and what a day it is, Derby Day. Is it as strong as recent years?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It's interesting how many times we've said this is sort of like the biggest weekend in racing. I reckon we've said this maybe 3 times on here. We've had some crackers.
I reckon you get one at every track.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
We had Guineas Day,
Yep.
we had Cox Plate Day, and now I think Derby Day headlines.
Yeah,
Wait till Champions Day.
Well, I was going to say that Champions Day is shaping up to be something else, isn't it?
It's fast. It's fast creeping up, isn't it? Derby Day's getting tied at the 100 at the moment.
Because
they've
moved the 2,000 metre race to Champions Day, which I think's taken a little bit away from Derby Day, but geez, next Saturday's going to be really
Yeah, how are you boys going to go getting to next Saturday? You might be a bit tired
We'll
too,
be
I reckon.
tired.
You might sound like me.
So there we go. I've got to do this show early and get to Oaks Day.
We're the gold trips of punting. We just bounce out of races. Let's head to the lay bin, fellas. There's a bit to discuss, and I don't know if Miles playing tricks on me, but Reece Goodwin's got something for the lay bin this week.
Yeah, see, I'm excited. I've got something.
Good.
I've got something. We're in 2023, right? This just, it gobsmacks me that we still can't have emergencies in the Melbourne Cup because the tab only goes to 24 runners. It's like, are they taking the piss?
They have to be.
Like,
it is an absolute
If
joke.
I would be absolutely ropeable, either if I was a jockey or a trainer, to find out on race morning that something got a foot abscess, and you knew you were number 25 in order, but you're not even an emergency and couldn't pop. Like there should be emergencies.
Last year that got scratched?
Yep.
There you go. Yeah. Wow, there was made room. Yeah, it's just absurd, I think, and I can't believe there actually hasn't been something made to be done, but just for this race at least. Like, quite obviously you're not going to get any more than 24 for most of the year or any of the year, but surely for our biggest race in the country, you could sort something out.
100%.
I'll play devil's advocate.
Of course you will.
This will be good.
Well, there's no interest like self-interest. You do shows, you're tipping. How hard is it to factor emergencies into your numbers when all you're building up, you're having a Melbourne Cup
When
selection
2 units colours is number 25 in order, we're going to go back to this and say, nah, don't worry about him being first emergency, boys. He wasn't that keen. He wanted to do the form for the race.
I would, that day, if that day comes, then I'll happily eat humble pie, my friend.
You'll be 24th and something will win the Archer.
Knock you out and you're blowing up a tree.
I can't stand when there's something in a lightweight or an emergency taking up all the mark. What was the one on
Saturday?
What was the one on Saturday at Cox Plate that had that bomb trial?
Yeah,
was it
the 2-year-old.
Yeah, the 2-year-old.
Yeah, the absolute bomb trial, and it comes out and there's about $100 deductions out of the field, and it's just changes shape. So, good arguments either side.
I reckon it's your best one. That's
my only one, I think.
Yeah.
It's your best, first and best.
And he still
We'll leave it at that.
And he still finished second best. Tommy, what do you got?
One from a viewer that messaged me on the DMs here, our viewer. He
We'll love our loyal fans.
Prince Rubiton on the socials messaged saying one for the lay bin, the shadows over the Cox Plate finishing post that everyone thought Mr. Brightside win. You couldn't see them when they went from the brightness to the darkness, and I thought it was fair.
Yeah, good call. I was sitting pretty much on the post, level 1, A1 seat.
Behind the glass?
A1 seat. No,
sipping on champagne?
He's not
I was
like
out,
you, Tommy.
But I was convinced Mr. Brightside won half a length.
Half a length?
Interesting.
Convinced.
Couldn't see anything.
He was clearly sideways, watching him with one eye open.
I was convinced Mr. Brightside had won. I had a romantic warrior backer on the left of me and Mr. Brightside backer on the right, and I was the alligator blood in the middle, and only I knew the outcome.
Amazing.
I was watching the race, walking never again around the St. Anna car park, and there was a big screen in the middle of the track. That's where I watched it from.
Perfect.
And I thought it was I thought it was close.
Yeah.
I didn't see any shadows. It was a fair way for me.
Well, the Hayes boys were celebrating, so I'm not the only one.
No,
I'd be celebrating for
But
second check
I've
too.
I've never noticed the shadows before. Cox Plate Day. So
Was the race run later than most years? Or
Maybe, because Melbourne Cup's run a week later.
Yeah,
So maybe
okay.
it's that.
Yeah, because obviously the.
About old Jane Bunn with the daylight savings.
Well, I just know there's something with Flemington and the grandstand. There's certain races they
Yes,
can't
twilight,
run. Yeah, the jockeys say something about the sunlight when they race into it. So obviously grandstands do come into it. So it'd be interesting if they look into it next year. I don't think it was a safety concern or anything, but so that Nick doesn't think something's won by half a length, they might look into it next year.
Just another one from me quickly. Side quaddies. When you're having a group quaddie and someone's celebrating a side quaddie result and the rest of the group
that's
aren't on it.
horrific.
That's,
Obviously, that's from the weekend.
Yeah.
Any names?
No. It's no longer friends.
That's a bashable offence in friendship,
Don't celebrate
friendship
either.
circles.
Just sit there
only.
quietly.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
celebrate.
Count your winnings
Correct.
later.
I had it in my quaddie.
Or maybe let everyone know after the day.
Yeah.
Let them know the next day.
Or buy them a drink that night or
Oh,
something.
that too,
when
yeah,
you-
yeah.
yeah.
There's been a bit of speculation around this one, but shorts at the Flemington Carnival, BRC. Like, I know Cup Day is going to be 30, and I've got a pretty good set of pins, but I won't be wearing shorts on,
I hope you're not
across
wearing
the
shorts.
4 days of the carnival.
If you're wearing shorts on Cup
No.
Day and you see me, I'll turn around and walk the other way.
Chinos till I die.
How about the models?
I don't
They,
mind
they
it.
looked awful. The models.
I thought it was all right. I think you're jealous.
No.
Your legs don't look like
Did
that.
you get them out?
Yeah, 100%. I got the whitest legs you've ever seen. Like I've had my legs out at a couple. I went to 4 race meetings in a row across the weekend. It was a Tuesday, and I had my legs out for about 3 of them.
It
And
was 15 degrees.
no, not in St Arnaud and Swan Hill it wasn't.
Oh, nice.
Obviously down here it was.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And I've copped a lot of flack for my white legs. Like I had white shoes on. It looked like I was wearing no shoes. They just blend in with the legs. So I am not scared to whack some shorts on. I'd rather be comfortable than worry about what I look like to other people.
Yeah.
I'm not here to impress anyone.
Those shorts aren't good.
No, I'm not having them. Boys, plenty of racing to look at. We'll head to Rosehill Gardens first. We've got the Giga Stakes. We've got the Golden Eagle there as well. We got more prize money in one race up there this week than we do across the 9-race card at Flemington, which is a emergency lay-bin for Reese that just got into the field. Good 4 rail true at Rosehill. Tommy, how are we expecting it to play?
Interesting. So first time at Rosehill since October 7. Rail was in true position in that meeting, and it was probably not obvious to many, but when you do the replays, it was really fence-in run. So we had super helpful 1 race 10. It was behind lead on the fence. Magic Time fence leading. Cepheus behind lead on the fence. Montefilia was fence in run before peeling out wide. Macarenas at OSL. So I think you had to be on the fence or outside lead. King's Gambit was fence in run. Believe it or not, they all got off the fence in the straight, and King's Gambit had the saloon run. Stanislaus won fence in run. Perossa fence in run. Mission Phoenix in the same race was second. It led, and Felix Majestic outside lead. So had to be fence in run that day, and it was the day that I said that Cool Die was wide and since ran really well. So just monitor early. I wouldn't be surprised if it's fence in run again, but they were, I think, rail 3 back to true, so it was fresh ground fence. Interesting.
Yeah, well, it'll be fascinating to see how that plays out. That's really good insight there, Tommy. Race 7 is the Giga Stakes, 1,300 metres. This one's for the little guys in racing, if you want to continue your Everest form. Reece, just a measly $3 million for this one here, though. Think about it. Private Eye, they headline the field at the top of the market for Joseph Pride. Cascadian presents here first up, off an excellent trial, and Bella Nipotina just continues to be at her consistent best. Do you guys have a firm opinion in this race, or are you willing to have a bet?
What's the bonus? There's a $5 million bonus or something as well if you run in the Everest and win this.
Gee,
double.
They must be disappointed with the field they've got.
It's like,
Yeah.
Is that like the old Wizard Cup and AFL Grand Final where they'll throw you an extra $1 million if you win the premiership in the pre-season
It hasn't.
comp?
You must.
That's
it
what
must
it is.
be said. It hasn't really worked. Like, there's not much in
Are
this.
they all scared off by the winner? Maybe?
Well, maybe, yeah. But should you be for that type of money? I mean, they're not robots, these horses. They can get beat.
Yeah, true.
For a $3 million race with the extra 5, if that's what it is.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Coal Crusher looks the leader here. Guys, I think about it, Lobs again in the perfect spot. I think we'll get a lovely run. Private Eye, drawn a little bit sticky again. Could he be trapped wide? You'd think there's less chance in the small field, but gee, he was good last start. I'd rather be with Private Eye at the odds than think about it. Do I want to think about $1.70 off? I thought Private Eye was a better run in the Everest, but if he's just a winner, think about it. If he got headed there by one of them, he might have kicked.
He never really wins by big margins either, does he? So you sort of watch it and go, maybe this thing can turn the tables, but he just always seems to poke his head out at the right time.
If he's $1.70 on Betfair, I'd be more inclined to lay him than back him.
Yeah, I'm backing Private Eye off exactly what you're saying around the price discrepancy. I thought Private Eye was huge in the Everest. Flushed out 3 wide, keeps giving. What I like about this is 1,300 metres. This race last year, which was the Nature Strip, then he won this race, ran a career peak in this race last year. So I think he's going to be topped up perfectly. Profiles similar to last year. The draw a touch sticky. I think they'll get some cover back in the field. Think about it. We'll have a positioning run over Private Eye. But geez, he's good, and what a great hand Joseph Bright has in the race, boys. So
I don't think he's going to be too bothered which one wins.
No, not at all. You getting involved, mate?
No, not at all. Not for me. I just like to watch the race. Good luck to connections that are going to get a pretty hefty check.
100%.
Can anything outside of those two win?
Cascadian? Clutching at straw. No, he's not a first-up horse at all. Yes, he's trialled good, but good horses.
Well first up in the past.
A few preps
third
ago.
in a Memsey 2-back, or fourth in a...
I think it's a few preps ago. 1,300. Maybe if he kicked off
Third
14.
in a Memsey 2-back and ran 5th in a Canterbury Stakes of 1,300 first up last
So I think
campaign,
that's good enough to be winning this.
Where's he going to get to from the paint too? That's the other thing.
He'll go to WA and run well.
The only one that I think could probably get close to one of their best is probably Ballinipatina. But she probably, we keep saying she's still looking for sting out, but she was, I think, behind IME last start, she was massive from back in the field where a lot of horses didn't make up a lot of ground. Like, I think her sectionals were through the roof, how quick she ran home. So she's actually still letting down on good ground. I think it's just the wet track slow the others down a bit and she's just as good. But the draw still hurts her again.
Her figures are all pretty consistent regardless. It's just that Manicato win last year, which is a significant peak performance, which was on the heavy 8 or 9 or whatever it was.
Last race of the 2 days,
when it got moved. So that one's the outlier for her, and I think we often draw back to saying she needs soft.
Just with the ratings on that, I think it's more of a case where a lot of horses just didn't turn up because they were there the Friday night and it made the win probably look a lot better than it was as well. So you've got to be careful of that. There's 1 to 10 mil forecast in Sydney as well on the day. So
there we go.
Rain on the day, I tend to look for horses on the inside as well. So another element to add interest as we preview this on a Thursday. So if you get the full 10 mil, then she might come into it.
It's an absolute minefield, the weather there and what the tracks are doing. Too much for me. You're overthinking it, Tom. It's back the best horse.
You're on the second best horse.
Am I? We'll see on Saturday over 14. Race 8 is the $10 million Golden Eagle, 1,500 metres. Colding, Colette, I'm Thunderstruck, and I Wish I Win are the 4 winners of the race thus far. Speed here looks good. Tommy, Pericles, Hawaii 5-0, Radina, Golden Mile from out wide. How are you seeing this one unfold?
Yeah, they're the speed influences. 9 horses with gear changes coming into this, which is interesting. So they're all trying to find a length or two with the $10 million prize pool. I think it'll be a genuinely run contest, a fascinating race. I found it very hard. I'm focusing on a couple of horses, Hawaii 5-0, Legato and Kovalica. They're probably my 3 horses of interest. I wanted to give chances to a few others, but the ones I was keen to give chances to, I went looking for have drawn awful. Ruthless Dame with one of those, drawn out in 20. So a couple of others. There's international flavour as well I can give a chance to, so I'm not keen to bet, really.
Kovalica, do you think she's almost, is it she or he? He almost half the price if you drew inside 10 or inside 8. Like, he was massive in the King Charles.
He draws 16. I don't mind that if the track's fair.
Yeah, okay.
I actually prefer him probably out wide and just with a sweeping run.
Yep.
Blinker's first time, 4 weeks off, or 3 weeks off, Blinker's first time back to 1,500 metres. Is that a move that you tick as a trainer?
It's generally I think so. It's 100 metres, yeah. I mean, you definitely don't want to be going up in trip if you know the horse can overdo it. But it's easily done either way, particularly with Chris. He certainly knows what he's doing. But, I mean, $10 million, I think a lot of these are dead set here to win. Like, obviously, first prize is massive. That's probably why there's, as you said, 9 gear changes. So there's probably a lot here that are dead set prime for this. And it's probably going to just, unfortunately for most, come down to luck and running.
So just a couple of things on Kovalica. That King Charles run at a very slow tempo. There are a few horses that were at the back, and we'll touch on them when they get to Melbourne, but a Tissue is one of them. Barbie's Fox, Hope in Your Heart, a Tissue. Kovalica was one of those as well that really couldn't win from where they were back in the field, and the horses like Fangirl, Mr. Brightside just had 2 or 3 lengths on them in run, and that was the difference. Kovalica was fantastic. His splits were fantastic. 3rd fastest 400 and 200 of the meeting, which is impressive over a mile. Berry's suddenly found some form. I don't think the Berry's too much of an issue. Got to be a chance.
strengthens that form line if Kovalika wins as well, and then you've got a lot of those mares running around in the Empire Rose later that day, so you might see some market moves post that with a little bit of form frankage, Tommy. Hey, I'm going to side with the Legato in this race. I think you are as well, Reece. And I think this is a classic. It's just another indictment on futures markets as well. So you look at
long list.
Well, you look at Legato, this has been the grand final, the set play since forever for this horse, basically. And she was $4, as much as $4. And now you're getting $8 on the day, and she hasn't done a thing wrong. So good return over 1,400 metres. Then she went to the Matamata Cup over the mile. She made a Group 1 winner in Le Creek look absolutely second rate. She's flying. This has been the set play the entire time. I'm going to stick with her. I think she's a ripper. So I'm going to 1/3 Legato at the price. You're looking at $8, which is double those futures odds that I've prefaced.
I don't need to add anything more, Nick. She's been prepped for this. Mick D goes up there for the ride. He knows her really well. She's just a dead set winner too. Drawn middle of the line. There's been no real reason why she's $8.50 now when you've been asked to take $4 the whole time along. So, I'm with her, and we haven't even spoken about Amelia's Jewel. Are we happy to put a line through the last run?
No, I'm penning her here. She can win, but I think she's way too short. If she's $4 on Betfair, that's an angle I could play. I'm really keen to play in the race because she's holding up 20% of the market, and I think she should be $10.
Do you think she's not good enough?
I don't think she's as good as the market thinks she is.
But do you think she could be good enough to win this race?
If others perform at their best, in my opinion, I don't think she'll win.
Right,
no.
so you don't think she could possibly be the best horse to come
I think
out of
Kovalika's got more talent. I think Legato's got more ability. So if they perform at their peak, I don't think she'll win. I just think she's unders at $4. I'd mark her close to 10.
I'm petrified of the Japanese horse as well, boys. I know you just touched on it. I don't even know how to pronounce the name. I'm going to go with Obambaruma.
Yeah, no, I'll go with that too.
Yeah, how'd I go? I got more chance of pronouncing the trainer's name correctly. But
off you go.
The figures from overseas, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm some Tokyo guru because I'm not. But the figures from the data stuff that I use look pretty scary as well.
And they're bringing it over.
If you're playing wide and quaddies, that's certainly a runner I'd be keeping safe.
100%. Maps well, one on a soft track. If the rain comes around, you've got to be wary. And even Galeron's got solid Group 1 form back. That run behind Chaldean over a mile on the 6th of May, that's decent form as well. So it's 200s. I've actually had a piece at 200, so it's now 126 I'll lay off.
Thanks for letting us know.
That's all right. Still a price there.
That's all we'll look at for Sydney for Rosehill Gardens on the weekend. And before we get stuck into the Flemington card, we've got to head to what caught my eye. And Tommy, you've been everywhere, breakfast with the best, perusing all the race courses. You might pop up at Witchy Proof this weekend. Who knows? What do you got for us?
Well, I was going to put the shorts as what caught my eye, the news article there, but you stole that for the lay-in, and rightly so. This could be a lay-in as well. Streamers at Moonee Valley, straight after the Cox Plate. You don't know what happened.
No, I was on the way in from St. Arnold.
So as soon as they crossed the line, Moonee Valley Race Club let go black and white streamers.
That must have been because Nick thought he won by half a length.
Let
him off, boys. Let him off. He's won.
As soon as they cross the line, they've pressed the button, black and white. Obviously, there's a bit of green in the silks, but I assume they've only got two colours. So they've let off the black and white. My mate said they've got it wrong. Moonee Valley have obviously got... Then they've come out a couple of days ago and said it was for the World Tote Pool. The black and white streamers to celebrate. Sure.
That's one of the best cover-ups you've ever seen. That's outstanding. I can't believe I didn't know about this.
You guys need to get your alfoil hats off here.
Who's celebrating the World Tote Pool?
This is conspiracy theorist stuff. I'm on very good authority from the person at the Moonee Valley Racing Club that there's only one set of colours in the streamers, in the streamer guns or whatever they are, and it was for the World Tote Pool.
Right.
Why are they celebrating the World
Tote Pool? That's the only years they've had them for Winks. And if she got done...
So there was no...
Well, at least if it was...
There was no talk of it happening beforehand, was there? So was it just some surprise that we're going to surprise celebrate the World Tote Pool?
Yeah,
and expect everyone to know.
Such a weird thing to celebrate.
Expect everyone to know that it was.
It's not even good for. That's 4 or 5% more takeout.
And expect everyone on track to know that it was for that and not for the colours that might have been by a horse that got beat by that far.
Amazing. Yeah.
What a strange coincidence.
Would have been weird if like Fangirl won.
Yeah.
It's black and white.
Yeah. What's going on here?
I had the pink streamers loaded up for Lempicker actually for this week when we had the Lempicker pool.
I'm going to let streamers in the show when we pick something else.
Oh, dear.
Hey, boys, let's head to Flemington now, which just looks to be a fantastic day. I think it's 19. No need for shorts on Saturday, boys. We can wear our chinos or suit pants, whatever tickles your fancy. But good for rails in the true. It just looks a fantastic day for racing, Tommy.
Brilliant day. Hopefully the track plays well. No reason why it shouldn't. Let's get stuck into it.
What's the wind doing? Anything?
I don't know. I think it'll be
that's
okay. No, I don't think there's a huge amount of effect from the wind. So
It's pretty good.
you could have wind,
To the old Matty Lloyd when he gets out there throwing the grass up.
windsock in the producer office.
I'm going to walk down the driveway and do the velvet sledgehammer.
I don't-
All the way down the driveway.
All right, let's go.
It doesn't have a big effect at Flemington. It does have an effect down the straight. So if there's a headwind down the straight, that's when you've got to take note.
Well, let's kick things off. Race 1, the Group 3 Carbine Club Stakes for the 3-year-olds run at a set weights penalties. 1,600 metres. Perfect Thought won the race last year. Fangirl in 2021 and Crosshaven in 2020. Speed looks pretty solid here, Tommy. Just bringing up the map
KZ
now.
leads from Critique, probably.
Ursa, Influential just in time, probably sitting just behind that. Where's Brave Mead get to?
Well, that depends on Jamie Spencer.
You just don't his name, won't he? Might think it's up the straight.
Barrier 5 will just camp there, will he?
Yeah, well, best horse in the race, right? I like it.
I love the fact that has he been boned?
Yeah.
Ross Bloodstock could just
100%.
sack Zara
Yeah.
and put Jamie Spencer on here.
Probably on a retainer to come over.
Zara's elected to hop off, I heard, and recommended his good mate,
I love
Jamie
it.
Spencer, to take the
They're
ride.
good mates. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it
Interesting.
just adds a different element. If Jamie Spencer gets caught 3 wide, no cover, and
Next thing you know, Zara's pumping up inside him to keep him there.
and Mark Zara pumps up, keeps him wide, wins the race. Have they cut their nose off to spite their
So
face?
you reckon,
Australian
look
Bloodstock.
outside the 2, you reckon?
Oh,
Who
yeah,
knows?
Oz Bloodstock done it, do you think?
Yeah,
Do you think it's
I
that
do.
cool?
Yeah.
I
He
don't.
doesn't. He doesn't.
I
I,
think-
love it. I love it.
It wouldn't be the first time they made absurd decisions. I mean, they did pot a trainer when they brought a horse from overseas in a voice recording. That got
that's
leaked.
right.
It's
Yeah.
not like he's hopped off and hopped on a 10-1 shot. Like he's hopped on a horse in this is Zara and He-Man that was strong late.
So you're saying it's Zara's cool?
I think could be.
Okay, so he
But
doesn't
you're
know for
tipping
sure,
against
but he
him.
thinks it might be.
Yeah. Well, it's not the first time he's hopped off. He hopped off Griff too. How'd that work out? So
Well, that's an interesting one because I'd argue he didn't hop off it and he was locked into the other one already.
okay. So can we?
But
just-
you wouldn't be locked into Brave Mead or He-Man going into a Group 3.
So
That's
all
all.
jockeys being even here, what do we like?
I'm with Heeman. Big jockey change. No, I think now this is. I mentioned what we talked about at Rosehill on the 7th of October when it was fence in run. Now, I've tipped a couple of horses that were fence in run, so I'm a little bit cautious. He-Man's one of them. It was fence in run back, got snagged back from a wide barrier, ran some really good sectionals, fastest final 600 and 200 of the race there. Will eat up 1,600 metres. His record's fantastic if you take out that straight track 1,200 metre run. Up to a mile, I think three starts ago in that listed race at Eagle Farm, he ran the fastest 10.8.642 of that race. I think he'll eat up a mile here. Barrier 2 is perfect. I'm confident he'll run very well. I think he's a horse to beat.
I'm with Brave Mead. Off that, I'm sticking with him from last start race, where he was too good over 1,400 metres. It was a great ride by Mark Zara to get out and hit the line strongly. Fastest last 200 metres of that race. The map is a little sticky, but providing Jamie Spencer can get some cover, I think he's going to be strong and suited up to 1,600 metres on the big surface of Flemington.
I've got a line through. I think Kaizad's a midweek Sydney horse. And I've got He-Man coming off a $500,000 Saturday race at
How's
Rosehill.
Kaizad turned the tables on Brave Mead?
I don't think it does.
And is worse off at the weights as
Yeah,
well. So
yeah.
I'm penning Kaizad.
I
off
agree.
that.
Probably if Jamie Spencer rides it, ugly.
Influential is the fly in the ointment, though, isn't it? Because it's a good first up win at Kembla. You can't never knock the super maiden forms. That's the old adage in racing.
Chris Wallace-
$60,000 super maidens.
Chris Waller, he's got the Chris Waller tax on as well. He's won this race 3 years in the last 10. 3 of the last 10. He's had Fangirl coming through and Kermadec. I don't think Influential's either of those three.
Yeah.
But it's not a stronger race as some of those years either. So I'm wary of Influential.
He did get a little bit hot in that previous preparation. Sid's been gelded. he still looked a little green, didn't he, finishing off at Kembla? So
He'll need to improve from
yeah,
that, though.
I agree. So I'm keen Brave Mead, and He-Man second for me pick as well, Tommy. So I can certainly see where you're coming from.
I'm leaving the race alone, but I'm annoyed at Tom because when He-Man ran last start in Sydney, you were all the rage for NCAP. And I said, oh, how about He-Man? He said, nah, it's not going much good. There's not many figures in here that could see it running well. And now all of a sudden it comes to a Group 3 and you're siding with it, saying that it ran the quickest last 6, 4 and 2 in that listed race at Eagle Farm. You shit-canned it when I asked about it, and now you're all for it.
So
off one run.
I am.
We don't keep receipts here.
Oh, I've got a good memory.
You do have a good memory. So I was keen Macarena that day too.
Yes,
So I backed Macarena. I've got a good opinion of Macarena. Charged late, ran good splits last start. I think this is a weaker race.
Okay, fair enough.
I think Brave Mead's beaten midweekers.
Yeah. It'd want to be a weaker race because it was 30 to 1 last start.
I think it is
360.
weaker.
Hey, let's head to race 2, which is the Group 3 Archer Stakes, 2,500 metres. Last chance saloon to get into the big race on Tuesday. 7 acceptors, tactical affair. There is just a lot on the line. We've got Interpretation, who obviously won the Bendigo Cup yesterday, fellas, slots into 24. Then you've got the following horses in order of entry here: Ladies Man at 25, Athabaskan at 26, United Nations 27, Calipore 28, Mostly Cloudy 29. United Nations looks the clear leader in the race, and then, it's tactical outside of that. Tommy, what do you reckon?
I'm against Athabaskan at the price. I think it's too short. I can make a case for a few in this race, including Ladies Man, Mostly Cloudy. How's the form through the St Ledger? I was pretty keen. Cleveland Friday night, Moonee Valley Cup. So the form through the St Ledger, won by Land Legend. Cleveland runs second there since won the Moonee Valley Cup. True Marvel beaten 15 lengths in that race, came out and only beaten 3.5 in the Moonee Valley Cup. Raging Bull was beaten 10.5. He's since run second. Apache Bell was beaten 22.5 lengths and since won. So the form through that race has been pretty good. Calipore ran third. I think he's very likeable here. Oliver, barrier 1, saves ground. I think he's the horse to beat. Athabaskan ties in through Cleveland, but I just think too short at the price. And Mostly Cloudy's the other one I can make a case for. So I'm bullish Calipore.
No, bet race for me. I don't think any of these should even be running on the Tuesday if they won.
No.
And you want emergencies?
Yeah, great.
Well,
I don't want Interpretation to miss out.
Athabaskan.
Interpretation could miss out because a horse like Mostly Cloudy could get in just by winning this race. I don't think that's right, in my opinion.
That's fair. Athabaskan, it was Halloween came early in the Moonee Valley Gold Cup for this horse.
That's in the lay bin too, Halloween.
I'm all for it. My street's all about it. It's wholesome, I think, but each to their own. Look, he had a tiring Regal Power just falling into his lap, nowhere to go. Looks incredibly well placed here in a small field, and I've got him on top. I know you can sort of say, well, Mostly Cloudy, through the Bart Cummings had his measure, and but Athabaskan was back and wide, and I thought had a more difficult run in transit. So I'm pretty keen. Athabaskan, I think, gets it done, gets into the Cup.
Good luck.
Thank you. Race 3, it's the Group 3 Furphy Sprint for the mares, 1,100 metres. It's our first look at the straight for the day. This race was won by Asphora from Verenskova and Sneaky Page last year. My speed map, Tommy, says heaps. I just wrote heaps.
Love it.
You can.
There is a lot of speed.
You can extrapolate on that if you like.
There is a lot of speed. And for that reason, so we got start from inside to out. Starlight Scope, south of Houston, H2O, Hypothetical, Red Card, Queen of the Ball, all have speed. There could be a charge for the Light Brigade down the straight. Interesting to see what part of the track they get to come race 3. With all the pressure.
This reeks of a split almost, doesn't it?
Oh, I hate splits.
I hate splits too.
Particularly early in the day when they're trying to find what might be best. If they split in the first straight race and then the outside division finishes in front of the inside, well, then they all just start going outside.
Yeah, when you've got
vice versa.
When you've got speed drawn either side, it's a
that's what I just wanted to touch on quickly is as much as there's speed galore, it's a straight race, and I find no matter really how much speed there is, There's no crossing, so no one has to kick up and actually make someone earn a spot. So they actually don't end up going that
agree,
quick.
100%.
They run it at a good speed, but it's not frantic because everyone just stays in their lanes.
And it's also great from a backmarker's perspective because you're not pairs back.
Yeah, they're close enough.
You can stay in touch.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Sorry, Tom.
No, I totally agree. But that's why, for that exact reason, I look for horses with a turn of foot because they can
smother up and
get a smother real over top of them. I didn't tip Len Picker last start, but he got me the quaddie, so I'm happy. I'm not jumping on him today, but I am with him here. Has the ability to run fantastic sectionals. Sorry, you just put me off there. Len Picker has the ability to run fantastic sectionals. 3 back, she ran the fastest 8.642 of the day. 2 back, she's run the fastest 800 and 600 and 200 of the meeting. Last start, she's run home at 11.40. That was the 4th fastest 200 of the day. So she's got an ability to run exceptional late sectionals, and that's why I like her here. If they do go hard, I think she can finish over the top of them. I can't work out why she's longer odds than the 4 she beat last start. She's come up $18, and I don't think it's that strong a race. You've got Rose Courts, yes, ticks a lot of boxes, loves a straight, loves Flemington, loves the 1100 metres, box ticket, drawn barrier 1.
It could be. You never know. It could be a
negative.
negative.
Know. And then Dancing Alone's the other one. Synthetic hoof filler on first time down Flemington Straight. It's an interesting one. I think Len Picker's great value, and I'm happy to be with her each way.
Yeah, look, I certainly agree with all those facts and being with her our last 2, but I really like backing horses that had previous exposure up the straight. I think it's a massive thing, and can quite often you can watch the race and then the record will be spoken about afterwards, saying, "Oh, this horse got a great straight track record." So I'm going to go right down the bottom here with South of Houston, who is pretty lightly raced, only the 5 starts. She only missed the top 2 once. Yep. Last start winner up the straight. Now, all her last 3 starts have been on soft tracks, but they were soft 5, so close enough to a good 4. She's had 2 solid jump outs this time in. Jai's been there to trial her. She's drawn middle of the line. I think she'll be some of the speed. I just think it wouldn't surprise me. She's obviously just proven that she goes very well. She's, maybe not going to be proper stakes grade, but as you said, Tom, it's not a really strong race. There's a couple of mares up the top that are maybe out of form, and then there's a couple that are coming through the grade. So Len Picker's won, apart from last start, had won 2 benchmark 70 races, the 2 starts previously. So it's clearly not that strong of a race. And I just think that the Price Junior team would have this filly pretty close to going really well first up. So at an each way price, I was happy to be with her.
Yeah, I'm siding with 2 here. Dancing Alone is the first mare I'm siding with, who's just flying, I think, for Bryce Hayes. Comes through a high rating 78. That went 11.1 lengths inside benchmark. Billy Egan's drawn wide here. She's been a key speed influence the last 2 starts, but she's shown versatility throughout her career as well. So she can take a sit behind if that speed is flat stick. And furthermore to what you're saying around straight track form, well, she's ticked that box as well. And then I'm going to back Len Picker too, who's just flat out airborne, and the market, I think spot on, Tommy, is just disrespecting her, to be honest, like putting up 20s. Blake McDougall has been the key to this girl. He's 4 from 4 on top now. He's gone with her in terms of that form. So she'll be ripping home late behind a very strong tempo. The straight track form is the query, but at $20, we're not diving in at something at $3 to knock straight track form. It's $20. So I think, she has to be a bet off the last couple of starts.
It's not like Dancing Alone's been winning Group 3 races. She's coming off a benchmark 78 win as well. I know it rated well. And I like her, but I just can't work out the price for Len Picker coming off a listed win. We
speak of jockeys. Obviously, we've got no idea what happened, but Bishin goes on Rose Courts and jumps off Dancing Alone. There might have been more to it, and he was already locked into that ride. So I know Billy's going very well, don't get me wrong, but you'd have to be a little bit of a... he's not Bishin, that's for sure. So that's an interesting one.
Yep. That is very interesting. Carrying the same weight.
I
not
looked
as if Shin's ridden Rose Courts in the past.
Well, but it might have been. It wouldn't surprise me that Begg was on the front foot and knew that Mickey D was going to Sydney. He'd obviously been locked into the Golden Eagle and had obviously good jockeys lined up well and truly. And Bryce might have just been a little bit behind on that.
Yep. Race number 4. It's the Group 3 Rising Fast Stakes run under handicap conditions, 1,200 metres. Straight down the eye, diddle. Argentia from Triple Missile and the Astrologist in last year's edition. Speed here, well, Najim Sahel looks the clear leader. busted up last time down the straight, and
You have not got over that.
it still won't ever. Then you've got the likes of General Bow from Inside Draw, Chain of Lightning, Gravina, Crosshaven. They'll be thereabouts as well, Tom.
Yes, I'm with Triple Missile. Huge jockey change here. I don't want to keep talking about it, but
I do.
But Jay McDonald going on is huge. Barry 2 is a little bit of concern, but this horse loves a straight. She was fantastic in a Gilgai. Get back, charge late, great turn of foot, loves a straight, loves 1,200 metres, ticks so many boxes, and I just think he's the obvious here and happy to be with Triple Missile.
I'm going to jump back on So Magique. Just, again, I go back to straight track form, and that's where her best form is. 1,400 obviously was just the wrong setup for her last time. She was disappointing. She was well on the market. She's been well on the market all her runs this prep, and before that, she was not far behind Star Patrol, which obviously ties in with Star Missile. So you can make a case for it at a good price.
Missile, yeah.
Triple Missile. Tim Clark goes aboard, probably never ridden her before, but he's a top-class jockey. And she might be drawn best part of the track. You know, obviously it's going to be a watch and see with these straight races. But
what's the price difference there between the two?
So
'Cause she makes
roughly
Triple Missile 1 kilo better, but I think the jockey change makes up well and truly for that one.
Triple Missile, you're looking $3.90, $4,
Yeah.
and then So Magique, you're looking $11.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
I don't know where she's at. So Magique.
Sorry.
Don't know where she's at.
Just don't know where she's
Oh,
at.
Good in
sorry.
she was
Yeah.
good in the Gilgai, but she
Yeah.
still needs to make up.
Yeah, you have to put a line through the. It's either
1,400,
you think she's going no good, or you have to say, well, clearly 1,400 wasn't the right decision. Which I can understand why they tried it because it was mare's grade. But I think the runs before that were fine. She pulled quite hard first up behind Benedetta, and then she was really solid against Star Patrol. And obviously ties in with Triple Missile. So and she's won up the straight before. So I just thought the price. I'm happy to be each way.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tom. Triple Missile. I thought to the eye, Triple Missile was terrific in the Gilgai first up, beaten 1 length by Star Patrol. You've spoken about the jockey change. The sectional data didn't totally back it up for me, so I was thinking, geez, second up, we know how good Triple Missile's second up record is, runs some really good figures. I just thought they would have come home much harder given the lead speed in that race. So that was something that I sort of questioned. But going back through, looking how Triple Missile profiles second up, loves the straight, James McDonald on, who's got a terrific hand of rides across the day for Derby Day, as you'd expect for a premier jockey like him. I can't not be with him. So Triple Missile for me as well in the rising fast.
Gee, you'll be sick if Spacewalk wins, won't you?
Oh, yeah, that's give up territory.
Spacewalk 1,200?
Don't know. They've got to try something. Doesn't win over much.
Needs a suck run where it gets to from that barrier. I don't think it gets that
Oh yeah,
suck.
it's
got a short sprint.
Yeah, he'll drift in the market, but it's just I'd
Has
love to
to
see.
drift, yeah.
I'd love someone to have a camera on Nick if Spacewalk does happen to win.
Yeah, you won't want a camera on me and all that day. Race 5, the Group 2 Wakeful Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies, 2,000 metres. See one of the key lead-ins to the Oaks next Thursday. Willow, he was able to complete the Wakeful Oaks double just 2 years ago, and Zenzella won last year's edition of the race. Tom, is the Oaks winner here?
I hope so, because I backed Halo Mist, but yeah, I think Zardozi's the horse to beat. I don't have a huge opinion of the race. Obviously ties in through a few of these. The Edward Manifold. Zardozi won that really well. Good turn of foot, ran 11.60 home. It's good going. Final 200 metres, 6th fastest of the day, if you don't mind. So hard for anything to turn the tables through the Edward Manifold. Conasana ties in through Harlow Mist through the preview. Conasana was going better late. Harlow Mist has since gone to Sydney, run a short trip and ran home okay. Zardozi on top. Don't really want to get too carried away at the price.
I'm going to spec one at a price, which I usually do, Sub Rising. And this is a filly that's just desperate for this trip. She's been great her last few. She wasn't far behind Oz Empress and the Jim Maloney. And then she was basically in an impossible position behind Zardozi, 2 back. And then she was great again the other day at Caulfield over 1,600. Every run this prep, she's just been hitting the line, getting back, hitting the line. If somehow Jamie Spencer can have a midfield, just off midfield.
Is that a big if?
Well, at least I don't have to worry about him getting near the fence. I'm glad he's on because he won't go near the fence, which is good. He'll give her room. So he might be the top rider for this type of filly. Strong rider, over ground. obviously the price suggests she's got to have a huge turnaround on Zadozi, but you're getting closer to 20 to 1. So for a filly that, for most of these that haven't been out to 2,000 before, I'm really keen to see her out at this trip.
Yeah, it's hard to put holes through any sort of double figure price when they're stepping to 2,000.
Yeah.
Look, I might be just a complete fool, but I think Zadozi is one of the better bets on the program. Regardless of the price, I think it's about right given what we saw last start through the Edward Manifold. I might be on my own in that camp, but it just looks poised, perfectly poised to step up to 2,000 metres. So nice 1,200 metre Warwick Farm trial between runs. The Edward Manifold was run at an even tempo. She had a lovely run in transit. I love the way she just picked up Savage the Line, fastest last 4 and 200 of the race. 6 fastest last 200 of the day, as you mentioned, Tommy. So that included Dane Hill and the Gill guy. They were on the program. So she eats up 2,000 metres. J-Mac goes on. I can't see how it isn't a bet.
They all run 2,000, so they don't they?
It's a really good goal.
But you can imagine if you spoke
year.
to all the connections, even the ones with 100 to 1 pops, they go, oh, she's just been looking for this 2,000 metre trip until you find out after the race, oh, nah, she wasn't right.
That's what they tell the owners anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of just being a huge week, before we continue on with the latter part of the card, Tommy, we got some pretty big things going on at Betfair over the next few days. Did you want to talk about? We've got the Melbourne Cup show, obviously, on Sunday, Call of the Card as well on Monday.
Yes, so Call of the Cards, 12 o'clock Monday. There's still a few tickets available, so you can go and buy some tickets. I think both of you might be in attendance. So bring Sharpies,
that'll
boys.
Get a few people
that'll
there,
get a few people there.
I RSVP'd and said not on a table with our Goodwin, thank you.
Fair enough. That's a fair call.
Table only.
That's a fair call. It's hard enough putting on with you Thursday.
So 12 o'clock Monday, it's going to be huge. We've got 4 bookmakers, a lot of punters and sharp minds in the room, some talent. I think Damien Oliver's going to be there. I think Holly Doyle, Mark Zara might turn up. He can after this spring, so that's good. It's going to be a great day. That's Monday. And then we've got a Melbourne Cup show, 12:30 on Sunday live. So stay tuned to the Betfair Hub.
And you're subbing us out, apparently.
Well,
we asked you both and you said no.
This is why emergencies are so good, because I've been a late withdrawal this morning, so hopefully there was emergency.
Yeah. You've got a horse running.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good one out there. I think they've got James Cummings in, actually, for the show.
That would probably make sense.
For like.
We both wear the Akubra, so...
That's about as close as
Tune in 12:30 Sunday for that. Andrew Hawkins, Shane Chilio, myself, talking all things Melbourne Cup. So we'll go through every runner and some recommended bets there.
You did great to work through that, Tommy, with us.
I know,
just having a side conversation.
Yeah.
Apologies.
I need to sit there and I'll talk to the camera. You two can chat.
Time to look at the quaddie legs. Race number 6, only a 9-race card at Derby Day, which we didn't touch on either. It's the Group 1 Coolmore Stud Stakes for the 3-year-olds, running to set weights, 1,200 metres down the straight. In Secret, huge winner last year, Home Affairs in 2021, September run in 2020. This is a mouth-watering race, isn't it? It's such a great addition. I'm really intrigued to see the angles. There's many angles you can take in this race. I've got a couple that I think will be vastly different to yours. Tommy, how do you see the race unfolding and where are you playing?
I don't know where to look. Speed, Salui lead, Osmosis maybe?
Osmosis.
I think there'll be about 8 of them across the track, I'd say.
Yeah, they'll be charging.
There won't be too many sort of jostling. Obviously there'll be a few wanting to get cover, but I think a lot of people will just want to have a clear run and let the horse win. Yeah, let the best horse try and win.
In terms of who I'm tipping or how to go about this race, I mean, Cylinder's probably deserved favourites. Comes from Everest. It was a really good run in the Everest, just beaten over a length. Looks the right form. He beat Iron Stoffel first up. A lot of people said he was a bit plain there. Cylinder, when he beat Iron Stoffel, both probably weren't fit either. Iron Stoffel's run well since. The thing that I look at there was Cylinder had a clear SP favouritism that day, so you've got to be short in the market here. Got to be favoured. He's a quality colt. Is this his grand final? Or was the Everest his grand final? Interesting one. Blinkers come off as well, so that's an interesting one. Shinzo through the Everest as well. Warmed up later. I didn't think he was too bad. Shinzo there. Synthetic hoof filler first time, which is interesting. In fact, like the Golden Eagle, there's 8 horses with gear changes heading into this grand final as well. In terms of bets, I think King's Gambit's the value in the race. I know he got beaten by a couple of these.
Did you like the straight?
I liked his trial the other day. I didn't mind it. I think Did you hear the people talking about the piece of paper on the track in the first up run? Did you hear that?
No.
Yeah, so they were talking about King's Gambit getting, it might have been Dan Watling was talking about this on one of his shows.
Put a line
and
through
Mick Gunner, they were talking about, I think Gunner raised it, there was a piece of paper on the track and it put King's Gambit off and everyone was laughing at him and then he went back and showed the tape. It was too fresh there. So I'm putting a pen through that run.
So
in
it wasn't
terms
the
of,
paper?
Well, it might have been, but he's just raced fresh anyway. I think the experience, his jump out in the straight was really good. He's another that had fencing run on that day at Rosehill, so that's a little bit of a concern. But I think his value. I think he had that SP profile over Archer Nacho and I'm Unstoppable there. He's come out and won since. I think he's the horse with the most upside in this race.
His last start win was outstanding, really. And then he's probably being priced $8.50 off that start 2 back down the straight, which is why I'm just treading carefully and not going near a non-proven straight tracker.
I just don't know where to go. I'll have something King's Gambit maybe, and I've had something Salui at 50s as well. Just brings completely different form. They've always had a big opinion of this horse, so I'll just spec that at 50s, and I can give a chance to Cylinder, I can give a chance to Stapati, back from the Caulfield Guineas.
I just want to, before I get into my horses, I wanted to ask you about that. Do you think any of the Caulfield Guineas horses mile back to 1200 can win? And also Tis Invincible's another one a mile back to 1200. Historically they can't. They just don't.
I don't think
they can run well, but they don't.
I don't think Tis Invincible has the ability or the upside of a few of these.
Yep.
I think she'll need to probably run at a peak, and the others will need to regress a little bit. Yeah, I do. What have we got the gear change for Stapati? So blinkers on, back in trip. I don't mind that setup. He's a very good horse. I can see him running really well.
So you're happy. So what did you think of the Caulfield Guineas run? He was there to presented to win, didn't win.
He just didn't get the
maybe.
trip.
He might.
Right, okay.
He might.
Interesting.
I just think he didn't get the trip.
He might be a better sprinter. Yep. And you see
Do you
these.
think otherwise?
Oh, I just thought they were talking Caulfield Guineas the whole way along, and he was going to eat up 1600 and maybe even further. I thought at one stage there.
Yeah,
I thought the heavy sand might have had him right to go to the 1600. But anyway, it's just interesting. It just said historically they can run well. Artorias was one, but they just don't win. I feel.
Yeah, I agree. He's got to be in the mix. Blinkers on intrigues me. I think he could be one of those horses. You see these horses with the flashing light runs all the time. They're really strong at the shorter trips and they extend them and they just don't have that same ping. So maybe they got it wrong.
You don't know what you don't know.
No, that's right. It's the same as the fillies in the 2000. They all run 2000 until they don't. Shinzo, I'm really keen on him. You speak of that jump out the other day, which had V8 in it, King's Gambit. I know jump outs are completely different, but if you watched it, they basically all finished in a line. J-Mac was dead set, double wraps on him, and he was swinging through the line. And I just love what I saw. Coolmore Colt, he'll be dead set for this. This means everything to them. This is what the race
This is more important to them than an Everest.
Or a Golden Slipper even.
Yep.
The Golden Slipper was great, don't get me wrong, but this is what makes stallions. J-Mac on. He's drawn 4. King's Gambit's drawn 2. I think he'd be right on the back of King's Gambit, which is going to give him the suck run to wherever he needs to go. And we know J-Mac, he just wins these good races. Waller wins these good races.
What do you make of the gear change, synthetic or filler?
From my point of view, it doesn't make much drama. All it is he might have ripped a shoe off at some stage. He's taken a bit of hoof off, which the nail couldn't go in. If there's no hoof, the nail can't go in. So it's just a replacement. It's just a bit of basically white glue that consolidates, and it's something to put so the shoe stays on properly, basically.
I feel like it's almost a bit of fake news, the old synthetic.
Pretty much,
now.
As I said, I think I've
concussion plates, that's it for me.
Concussion plates are a different thing.
You've
much
said in the
different
past,
thing.
you've actually seen it as a positive because they've worked him out.
Well,
potentially.
Yeah, exactly. If I've got a horse, if I've got a horse that turns up and I'm because I know I think I know what I'm looking at. I probably don't. If I see a horse that has got a bit of hoof missing and there's a nail that isn't probably going into where it needs to be, well, I just see that as a negative. But these guys have rectified the issue that was there, and we're being made aware of it. The issue is you're not made aware of the issues that aren't brought to surface. So I think I take it as a positive. Concussion plates are a bit different, but again, it's something at least they're onto it rather than not being onto it. So really keen Shinzo. I was interested in what you said about the mile back to 1200. And the only other one I want to touch on is your girl, Stretton Angel. 3 of the last 5 years, fillies have won this race. They've got great record. D-Lane goes to Sydney. Stackhouse jumped her out last Tuesday, so he's had a feel of her. You can't knock her straight record. She's drawn 17. She might be dead set outside rail, which might be the place to be. And we start talking on the day. If they all outside rail, we get to the day, get to this race, we're going, well, Sepati's drawn 1, King Gambit drawn 2,
Correct.
Shinzo's drawn 4, and all the money starts coming for something drawn out wide. So it's going to be really interesting to see how those first few straight races go.
Yeah. Great discussion so far, and I love your point around Shinzo. I'm petrified of Shinzo. Got to keep Shinzo safe. There's something that I'm sort of, the angle I'm playing this race is not stuff the Everest form, but like it's because that would be ridiculous. But I'm going for a genuine set plan here. So horses that have been on this path as a grand final the entire time, which is where Shinzo, I think there's a bit of ambiguity around that going from the Everest to here. But I'm with I Am Unstoppable and Stretton Angel. So what these two lack in class on their form guide, they make up for it with a genuine set plan and ready to peak and produce a career best run on Saturday. So I'm Unstoppable. I did mark him as one to follow after his run in the Poseidon. He'd been drawn inside at his 2 goes down the straight, found interference in the Poseidon, still got home great time, was flushed out early in the inferior part of the track last start in the Danehill, draws 12 this time, which is a big tick.
Big winner from the barrier draw.
Big tick. Blake Shin goes on for Zach Spain. He'll be ridden for cover, given more time to go through his gears out to 1200. Think he can run a huge race at a good price. And then Stretton Angel, well, she's just been outstanding. That win in the Danehill, she was running away from I Am Unstoppable through the line, but she was in the best part of the track. So couple of really good value plays there. She's just got a really sharp turn of foot. I did note, I tried to look at a 900, a 1,000 metre jump out from about 900 metres away on those horrible.
Good luck with that.
I'll try to even divvy up the times. There were 2 1,000 metre jump outs run that morning, and I had to compare hers to a horse called Cherubi, trained by Reece Goodwin. So I didn't really know. I didn't really know how to marry
Let's
them
not
up.
talk about that one on here because prices haven't gone up for it Saturday.
Her time was only 9 seconds faster, I think, on the morning. Anyway.
It would want to be too. I just want to touch on just quickly. I just think this is not ordinary. I shouldn't say it like that, but I hate that Zach's ridden this horse. I am Unstoppable the whole way through and been shit canned for a Group 1. And I understand you boys had spoken about there are Group 1 riders, but the likes of Bo Mertens, Jared Fry, they're not going to, like, if they're not given the opportunity, they can't be Group 1 riders. Quite as simple as that. And I think Zach's been robbed of possibly winning a Group 1 here.
That.
Yeah, and he hasn't torched the horse.
Well, there was obviously that argument.
There
was obviously that argument with Archo Nacho that if he'd sort of gone one way instead of the other. But, I mean, we've seen that with Blake on Antino. He can get it wrong as well. They can all get it wrong. But he knows the horse back to front. He's done all the work on it, and now he's just been shit canned for the grand final, which I don't like.
So would you keep him on if you were training?
Of course you would. What are the actual reasons for him being taken off? Other than, obviously, Blake Shin's a better qualified rider. There would have to be no reason, surely.
It's worth a lot of money.
That's the main reason.
No, I understand all the reasons for it, but I'm just talking from my point of view that I just think it's a little bit ordinary that you suck someone into doing all the work on it. And
I mean, I sit in that corner firmly 90% of the time, but you've got a stallion making race and you've got a 3-year-old I Am Invincible colt ready to go down the straight, and Blake Shin is absolutely
It'll just
on fire.
You just put the best jockey available on.
But as I said, though, I understand you can put the best jockey on, but that doesn't guarantee you he's definitely getting it right.
He might butcher it
because
himself.
he just got it wrong on West. You know, it's up for debate, but he got it wrong on Antino. So it's proven that no matter how good you are, you can quite simply get it wrong.
We've spent a bit of time on the Coolmore.
So we should. I reckon it's dead set the race of the day. This is the one I want to watch the most.
Well, let's head to the feature then, the Group 1 Victoria Derby, race 7, 2,500 metres. Manzois won the race last year, High Totsu in what was an outrageous training performance in 2021. And the great living legend, Johnny Get Angry, in 2020 won the race.
Has he won a race since?
No, he's out at Living Legends.
Oh, right.
The trainer or the horse?
Both.
Speed map, intriguing here, Tom. Didn't expect Vidad to go forward last week. A lot of punters certainly didn't. I don't think they do this week.
What about 90?
Either.
I've got no idea.
Where's the speed coming from in this race?
Sunset's would be one. Not that he went at a quick speed, but he'd obviously roll forward from the wide draw when he led the other day. That's about all I can tell you.
Sacred Eagle might kick up.
Tokyo Run will go forward.
There'll be a few from
price.
out wide, I'd say, that'll have to press on because they're not going to want to go probably right back with the long run into the first corner, and there'll be a few that'll just caught that'll have to press on at some stage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good luck working it out, though.
No, you're just guessing there. Who knows?
Opinions? Betting?
I might be having a cup of tea or a drink after
I've got a feeling you will not be having a cup of tea at Flemington
I'll be at
races
Flemington.
at about 4
If I'm
o'clock.
having a cup of tea, put me in the lab in
You're
for a
correct.
year.
You can get out.
You're in it for suggesting it.
I'll still be recovering from the Coolmore, and I don't have a strong opinion here. I don't really care, to be honest.
Feature race of the day, and you just don't care.
Last race was the feature.
I'm going to stick with Gates. Third up, 2,500. He's crying out for it. The Riff Rocket race last time behind Sunsets, I think they went 10 lengths below benchmark early or something like that, whereas the Riff Rocket race at Flemington, when he was dominant, they were 10 lengths above. So 2 different races. Gates wasn't suited. He was back in the field. He was solid through the line. He's a Frankel colt that's looking for this trip. Draw's still not great. I think they'll still ride him somewhat cold, and he's just going to have to get the right drag into it. And I just hope it's an evenly run 2,500. It doesn't have to be a fast run, just an evenly run 2,500. And I think he can run really well at that price. Outside that, everyone's guess, basically. Obviously, Riff Rocket can win, but, I mean, after his last start, I'm guessing there won't be too many piling in again.
Can I just ask a question before I get into that? 2 questions. I want to know from both of you who will have in the quaddie, if we're having a quaddie together.
I'm going to have my separate one.
Yeah, you have a side quaddie. That sums you up. Riff Rocket obviously was beaten by Sunsets last start. Apulia has since beat Sun Source, who was lapped by Apulia as well. Does Riff Rocket get the 2,500? And if so, do you forgive his last run off the slow tempo race? Or I've got him on top.
As I said, I think he's went at Flemington to the just narrowly getting beat at Caulfield. They were 2 differently run races.
Yep.
And it's the same argument as the fillies. I mean, they all run 2,500 metres until they don't. Well, they all will run 2,500. Some will just run it quicker than others.
Yeah.
But I think, I do think he'll run 2,500, particularly in his age group. I think he'll be fine. I think he's proven that he's a quality horse, and I think it was, he popped out at the right time the other day at Caulfield. He looked disappointing, but they were still
went so slow.
Exactly, like they were both still building through the line. I feel
this is where I think you've got to work the race out. Is what do you want to side with? Do you want to side 14 days between runs out of a absolute farcically run race at Caulfield, or do you want to side with 7-day backup fast run race Moonee Valley? So that's where my thinking's been at
You're
for
with
this.
the Apulia or?
And I'm with Vidad
Vidad
at the
off
price.
the Apulia race.
Yeah,
Yep.
out of the same race.
Yep.
I think I want to be with someone who's bouncing out of a fast run race and they're hard and ready for it. Now that could blow up and they could have enough, but just at the price, Vidad's 850. I think 1x3 play. Like his form's been outstanding with excuses this prep, and you can continue to make excuses for horses, but this has been the target in mind, hasn't it? So ran Griff to a head 3-back, struck interference with race shape against in the Guineas, ridden upside down last start in the Moonee Valley Bays. Look, that race went 10.3 lengths inside the class average to the 600 and shouldn't have been leading. More effective, ridden colder, drawn soft with a bit of cover. If he's bouncing out of that, I think he runs a big race and can turn the tables on Apulia, who had the run of the race last week given, and you look at the SP profile a bit different.
Do the trainers, and this might be a question for you, look at that going into this race and said, the favourite here, Riff Rockets, 3 weeks between runs or 2 weeks between runs, we've got a fitness edge, it was a slowly run race there. Do we take the race by the scruff of the neck, inject a bit of tempo, use our fitness and our edge into this race on the quick backup?
To an extent, I'm really strongly against Vidad because he's 5 runs into his first racing prep.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Yep.
I don't know what the record is, but I don't reckon there'd be many Derby winners that are 5 runs into their first racing prep and win.
Yep.
So I sort of see it the other way, the Moonee Valley race. They've gone that hard that it's been a strong...
Busted them.
Not busted them, but I don't think there's a whole lot left in the tank, in my opinion. And I did read a tweet that he didn't eat brilliantly the first night, Vidad, which, don't get me wrong, a lot of horses do that. They don't all eat up. I think there was a little question mark whether they were definitely accepting even, but they have accepted. So I'm actually probably against both of those in a way. Not that I'm going to be laying them to any extent, but I'd much rather be with Riff Rocket because, again, I think
that's a better setup.
Well, I just think Chris... I'm not saying Chris Waller's going to be better at placing these horses, but Chris definitely knows what he's doing. I think Riff Rocket's had a pretty good setup, and I don't mind him coming out of a farcical run race into 3 weeks. I don't think Chris Waller's going to be going there and saying, oh, yeah, he might not quite be fit enough because he's come out of a farcical run race and I've only had 3 weeks to get him ready.
Yeah,
I just
2 weeks.
And the flip
2 weeks.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's an issue there, in my opinion.
And the flip side of that is then you got to take 220, don't you?
I think that's probably the thing.
Other part.
I think that's probably
For
the
Dad,
part.
you're getting 240 a place.
Yeah.
What I'll say as well is I might have made a call yesterday to the yard of
Bit of
the
name
Dad
dropping.
and just got some insight and just going very well this week. So
well.
So don't worry about the eating up.
Right, well,
rumours.
that's great.
Going
That's
very
great. But
well.
it doesn't matter because Gates is going to win. So he comes from he's only third up. He's probably maybe the freshest horse on the scene.
If you trained a horse in this race that you were 99% sure bred to eat up this trip, would you go hell for leather and just say, catch me if you can, inject a bit of speed, do what the Sweaty Spirit
What I
kind of
would
thing?
do is actually probably do a history run to see how these derbies have been ran previously.
Yeah.
Because I do find sometimes horses of a young age that are at this trip for the first time can sometimes overdo it. And as I said, there's probably no one's really going to want to push too hard into the first corner. But if all of a sudden there's a line of 6, then there's going to be pressure created for the first half mile. I would probably, in my opinion, take especially if you drew wide, you take your medicine and let the race unfold early. And then maybe let your horse, if he's a proper stayer, just let him build from the half mile and maybe put yourself into the race rather than do it all early.
It has a turn of foot.
Yeah.
If it is a slowly on race and he gets that suck from 5.
Well, we saw him at Flemington.
Correct.
We saw him at Flemington, and the leaders have started to fold. He just popped out and went whoosh and ran some of the quickest sections of the day.
And to answer your question at the start, I won't be getting too sexy with that. I'll be taking the top 5 in the market.
That's
Rocket,
probably fair
Apulia,
enough.
the Dad, Gates and Sunsets. I think you'll find your winner in amongst there.
If there's a Lasquiti Spirit or whatever it was, good luck to him.
Yep. Something comes out and beats
But
me. I'll just cop that.
What I will say is a race ran like that will test out who the actual stayers are.
Yeah.
If a Farsi run race will test out who's going to be at the back end of 25, and it would probably sort some of these out.
Let's move on now, boys, to race number 8, the Group 1 Empire Rose Stakes for the fillies and mares run under weight for age conditions, 1,600 metres. Ice Bath won the race last year. Geez, it's an outstanding edition of the race this year. It's an absolute minefield from a betting point of view for me. I've got a bit of an idea, but very low confidence. The speed here, Tommy, looks hot. Barrier draws haven't been kind to some of those in the market. They've been drawn out wide. You've got the likes of Road to Arataki in 10, Pride of Jenny 17, Wishlaw Lass 11, Come Into Deny Knowledge in 7. Princess Grace 12. It's a tough speed map to work out here.
It is interesting, isn't it? Because Deny Knowledge didn't lead 2 back when you liked her to place. And then she's come out and run 16.6 legs faster than Group 1 class benchmark last start. She's floated along.
I reckon she slept well that night.
Oh, jeez. I actually think her run to finish 6th was pretty good, given how
100%,
far she went.
That's what I mean by she broke some of the other horses' hearts.
Yeah.
There was a few that got over the top of it, but a few that were knackered as she was.
Nick Kent might have to wake her up Saturday morning and say, we're going back to the races.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wishlaw Lass has speed, but there's a lot more pressure here than previous runs. Pride of Jenny led the Group 1 Turak. No option other than roll forward potentially on Pride of Jenny. Road of Arataki led last start, but probably landed there more than intent to be there.
Given the race.
Slowly run race, smaller field. Alcohol free, handy from the draw. Life lessons, another that may work forward from a sticky draw. A lot of speed, a lot of pressure here. It'll be a truly run race. No fillies, interestingly enough. So I'll let you go first.
I'm just going to do what I usually do and go a bit of value. And a mare that probably hasn't won in some time, but it's going to
Can't accuse you of tipping favourites.
No, that's right. Oh, well, that's not what I'm here for. You boys do that because you land on the same data horses. Anyway, more secrets. You can mix it right in with a lot of these horses. She was good, really good, hit the line behind Renaissance Woman last start, which is obviously in this race too. She was great behind Espiona 2 starts ago with a tissue. So she sort of mixes in with some of the top form here in these mares races. Ollie goes on. He'll probably go out with a bang. I just thought at $26, I'm probably going to have something each way on her and what's a really open race. I mean, obviously alcohol-free. Looks like she's hitting her straps now. Yes, Princess Grace was disappointing at $1.60, but you only got to go back 2 runs. She's going with Mr. Brightside. Hope in your heart, always gets back, runs on. There's just a lot of these mares. It's a typical mares race where if something won here at 21s, you're not going to be that shocked.
I love it.
They all tie in. So I've just gone something that's drawn low, that's probably going to get a suck run, and is probably not overpriced, but I'm happy to have something each way. Yeah.
What we do see as well is the beauty of these genuinely run races. They get their chance.
Yeah.
And we've seen that in the big Group 1s, haven't we, over the last few weeks? And I don't think this is an exception to that at all. My on-topper is, and I don't think I'll bet, but my on-topper is Princess Grace. She's been competing in genuine Group 1 weight for age contests. She comes here off a bit of a freshen. She ran Fangirl to 0.3 of a length in the Winx, ran Mr. Brightside to 0.4 of a length in the Memsey. Second last start at a very short quote, perhaps has got punters just a little bit wary.
I'd say so, yeah.
But did she have excuses throughout that run? Like, perhaps.
The only thing I'll say is she's ran second to Life Lessons, and Life Lessons ran second behind Amelia's Jewel to start before. So there's a tie-in of at least some decent form. It's not as if Life Lessons was a complete surprise and didn't have any decent form on the board. I think she's probably been, like 160 last start. And now you're getting...
Tarataki came through in there and won.
Yeah,
the kicker for Princess Grace is she's drawn 12 with Jamie Spencer on, so I'm sure she'll find some cover.
Which one's the bigger knock, the gate or the jock?
Combined. Well, you know what? Weirdly, my concern, Princess Grace looked at absolute good thing there, weights and measures. And then in a day and age where horses are starting $1.30 for fun, I expected her to start $1.30, $1.40.
She was 160.
She was $1.70 on.
Yeah, $1.60 speed.
Yeah. So I was a little bit hesitant. I went into that race a couple of minutes out. I was a little bit nervous that she wasn't $1.40, given that so many good, like Red Card started $1.30, cross say. Whistler Lass, Barbie's Fox, and Foxy Frida ran the trifecta in that Vase at Caulfield on October 14. Barbie's Fox traded $1.01. Betfair there, loomed up, looked a good thing.
She's so gutsy, Whistler Lass.
Whistler Lass, won that well. Whistler then won at Moonee Valley, again leading throughout to win. More pressure here. She's racing well. Just different task here. Flemington, with a 1 kilo weight swing and the more pressure, confident Barbie's Fox can turn the tables on Whistler. She did beat Hope in Your Heart in the Epsom, but Hope in Your Heart meets Barbie's Fox 4 kilos better from that Epsom as well. So you've got to tie in Hope in Your Heart. I'm against the Tristark form. Penning wrote to Arataki and Shuffle Dancer. Princess Grace obviously ties in through, wrote to Arataki as well. Alcohol free, we haven't mentioned.
Seems to be really coming along now, doesn't she?
Everest form, finally hitting some form. So I've priced the race. I've got alcohol free mark favourite, $5. Hope in Your Heart, $7. Barbie's Fox, $8.50. A big overlay there.
Gee whiz.
Give her a much better chance in the market. She's about $18. So I'll probably back Barbie's Fox. A Tissue ties into all of these as well through Hope in Your Heart. Grand final trainer, grand final horse.
Alcohol free is probably one of those speed influences that isn't going to find trouble. And
just lobs there, doesn't it?
Opie Blossom can sort of pick and choose what he wants to do.
She went down swinging in Sydney, didn't she, her last run? It was the first time she sort of really showed some fight, and
she's run well.
You could not like her from where she was.
Tommy, I'm going to return the question at you in a moment. I want to know your quaddie numbers for this leg because it's a big leg.
So my prices in order. I got alcohol free favourite. I could potentially back alcohol free, but with little confidence. Barbie's Fox might play in the race each way. I'm having alcohol free, Hope in Your Heart, Barbie's Fox, A Tissue, Princess Grace. And I might...
It's a Tommy 9 bet.
No, that's the quaddie. That's the quaddie for you. I'm just answering your
question. Asked about the quaddie.
Well, it's in the sheet. Look how many bets
I did see that actually, that was, They had to make more room for you.
I just priced the market.
I thought it must have been his best bets when he used to drag them out.
I can potentially have a couple down the bottom, but they're my main 4 or 5 for Princess Grace. I got marked $14. I might be against Whistler Lass at the 16s and won't. I'll put her in the quaddie.
Yep. Excellent. Let's head to race number 9 then, which is the Damien Oliver. Group 2, handicap 1,400 metres, formerly the Lynn Lithgow. So, look, there's no interest like self-interest here. A couple of my absolute favourites have won this race. Osborne Bulls back in 2018, Kemmel Passer in 2019. Some great names there, boys. Speed here, Tamer Lane looks the clear leader from 1 and gets a very similar setup to last start. Tamer Lane, Tommy, I'm intrigued to see if you've got more pressure when it comes to the map, or is it just a sit and control job here on the Dolphin?
Tamer Lane was one of my better bets on that day just because she mapped later in the last. She mapped to get
you rode her well, didn't you, D-Lane?
Yeah,
he did just enough and then kicked at the right time and left enough in the tank late.
Perfect ride, summed it up beautifully. McDonald on. There's not a lot more pressure, no. I'll potentially save on her or back her as well. Tamer Lane.
Have you got Here to Shock outside?
Here to Shock's the pressure. Yeah, handy. I keep thinking Tamaline's a female for some reason, but Tamaline's got to be in the mix. I am backing Here to Shock. Now, this is a horse that started the same price as is today in a Group 1 last start. This is in a Group 1. There's not a lot of... There's two chances, in my opinion, that are big dangers in Tamerlane and Villana. I don't give much a chance to a couple of others that are in the market. So I think Here to Shock's a great bet. I thought he got held up at a crucial stage around the bend there last start, and he just wasn't the same horse after that. Go back two back, he ran Antino to less than half a length. It was a great run. $11 in a two-rack. He was well backed, 16s, 211s there. Yep. I can make a really good case. He's the map horse as well. He just camps off speed. He'll be in the finish, in my opinion. So I'm backing Here to Shock each way. I could save Tamerlane for sure.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to add much more to that. I'm with Here to Shock too. He's super consistent now that the boys have had him for a while now, apart from his last run, but there's clear excuses in a Group 1. He's going to map to be right on speed. As you said, he pushed Antino all the way to the line at Sandown there. So I think he's well over the odds. I don't think he'll start single figures by the time we get to the day.
Yep, I'm siding with Tamerlane as well, boys. So certainly not making Tamerlane a loser. And then I'm actually going a little bit wide here. I'm with number 15, Lord Vladivostok. So bringing some of the time-honoured Murray Bridge Gold Cup form. So he returned at Flemington really well, and then in the Murray Bridge Gold Cup, just got a long way out of his ground. He SP'd $3 that day. I know this is tougher here, but he's going good this preparation. Big price, worth a bet. Great to see Theo Nugent back in the saddle, getting a big ride on Derby Day.
I love when Adelaide trainers bring horses over for the Flemington Carnival. They
I
generally
think
go
they've got
better
a
than they punch
pretty
above
good
their
record.
weight.
Yep.
Camel Pass at 21-1 this race 4 years ago.
There you
Done his
go.
history.
Yep.
Smoke and Joey won this race at a huge price.
Gee, we're going back a while
I
then.
back Smoke Joe.
Yeah, it was-
Chris Simons went on him?
Was
that back on Chris Simons'
maybe,
riding?
Yeah, maybe.
Dear me.
Last thing, got the quaddie home. So Smoke and Joey.
Been good.
What a horse.
Been good to me this race.
Yeah.
It's been real good to me this race. That's how I'm playing. That rounds out the card, boys. Good job. That was,
Big
Glad
show.
we got through.
You've earned a caramel latte after this race for sure. Let's head now to Take On Me with Jackson Oldham, who got rolled last week with prowess, Jacko. So he likes to put his money where his mouth is, and this is what you can take on Jacko with this week.
Take on me this week. It's Derby Day, and we're getting things started nice and early. Race 1, the Carbine Club Stakes on away. Number 5, influential Chris Waller, James McDonald. Waller has had a few very nice winners of this race in the last 10 years, Kermadec coming through and Fangirl. But because of that, I think we pay a bit of a Chris Waller tax in the race. Every time he brings one down, they seem to be overbet. That was pretty evident with Pungo last year, started south of $4 and has gotten beaten at Mornington and Moe in benchmark races this preparation. Cavalmo went winless in 9 starts until it was retired, post-Carbine Club, including a 9th of 9, beaten 12 at Bow Desert, and Adana, who went winless in 8 starts post-Carbine Club until winning a 78. So although Waller can bring down a good one, he can also bring down an average one, and I think that's what this influential is. Its ratings are nowhere near Brave Mead and He-Man. I thought all the first preparation was pretty basic, resumed with a three-length win at Kembla Grange, but the form through that race seems very, very plain, and I thought he looked more like a hurdler. So $4.20, $4.40 top price available, I thought was way too short. But if you disagree, you like Waller, J-Mac, I'm going to put up $500 at $5 on Betfair. Race 1, number 5, influential.
Thanks, Jacko. You won't have to wait around too long to find out if you're winning or losing on Saturday. Boys, we'll go around the table. We'll get perhaps our bests and our next bests. You can get all of our unit plays up on the screen now as well. Saves us going through all of those. So you can write them down off that. We'll start with you, Tommy. What's your best?
Yeah, it's hard to nail a best on such a big day. Good luck to Jacko. That's hard to do, putting money where your mouth is and doing that. So respect there. Race 1, I'm pretty keen Heeman. 1 unit win there. Triple Missile, very keen. Lempica's a stupid price as well. So Heeman, Lempica, Triple Missile are my horses of focus at Flemington. Here to Shock as well. And in Sydney, we haven't talked about this. Race 4, number 2, Show High. Having something on this horse on the back of 2 really good trials.
So my best, I'm going to go to what I think is the race of the day, the Coolmore. And I think Shinzo will show us who the real Shinzo is. Really keen on him, particularly in each way play. I think he just finds himself finishing in the top 3. He's going to the back.
Slipper winner ever won a Coolmore?
It's a good question, isn't it?
Not in recent
It's a
years.
good
They haven't won a race.
But J Mac and Chris Waller, they're probably the two that are going to get it done. And the next best at an each-way price, although all of mine are each-way prices, Gates. I think he's been trained to the minute, third up, 2,500, Frankel Colt. He just needs to get clear room from the half mile, and he will definitely stay the trip.
Yep, my best of the day, and I may regret this, trusting a filly for the first time over 2,000, is Zardozi. I just think she is going to really appreciate that 2,000, in the words of Reece Goodwin, until she doesn't. And then my next best is going to be a bit of a 1x2 sort of play, and that's going to be Legato in the Golden Eagle. Just absolutely prime for this. $8, $8.50, I think's a bit of a steal, considering we spoke about $4 all in markets pretty much all year.
Do you reckon he'll claim the 1x2 play as well? He claimed the one. He came up with the 1x3.
It's a rare 1x2 play.
Whenever he has a winner, he says he had 15 units on it, so he'll change it however he likes.
If I did on Lem Picker that day, we wouldn't be here. I would have retired from the show if I had 15 units, especially when a unit's worth $1 million.
Gamble responsibly.
Yeah. Yes, you lose more than you win.
Visit the
Boys, been a lot of fun.
It's been big.
Yeah, it has been big.
Yeah, big
good luck heading to the track, Tommy. Have you got run? What are you doing across the weekend? You got runners, or are you going to be?
Yeah, we're
home?
playing at Royal Pakenham Saturday. Terrelgan was transferred to Pakenham.
Okay.
Is this the one that trialled the other day?
Yeah, Nick's let the bloody cat out of the bag there.
Yeah.
You can.
I'm not mentioning its name. No,
Okay.
we won't worry about that. I'll keep that to
we'll keep
myself.
that to-
I need $1. I'm eating the wallpapers off the wall at the moment.
They can rewind and.
Yeah,
listen.
correct. Sunday, Mornington, got a couple going there. One first up that I think is going quite well. Probably Ali Rock. Kicks off over 1,600, staying mare. She's going to probably be ripe for second up, I think. But I think she'll still run
Not
really
taking
well.
any to Flemington?
No,
Might be the only trainer in
hopefully,
Victoria to not see
yeah,
the runner
hopefully
before.
in the next 5 years I might have a runner there, but we wouldn't bank on it.
You've had a winner at Flemington.
And I'll be
mate, don't
calling
do
you out if
I
Zach
haven't.
Spain doesn't
Sandy.
ride.
that. I was saying that, was it?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's nothing like Flemington, let me tell you. I wasn't even there either.
All right, boys, that's enough.
Let's go home.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back, as Tommy mentioned, on Sunday. There's the Betfair Melbourne Cup show. Then next Thursday, we'll be previewing Champions Day before Oaks Day. All the best, and we'll be back in your ears next week on Layback with Betfair. Welcome to Layback with Betfair. Joined by the A-team, we're back.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.